think we are live. So testing, testing. Erica, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We got Matt Ritchie will be coming on here in a few moments. So while we wait, Erica, what was the highlight of your day today?
Highlight of my day today. Let's see. I'd say talking to a new client today. Slash like mentor. I met him through a friend, and we're trying to work out a new project together. And he does a lot of financial wealth management, and he just is like filled with a bunch of advice and great insights. And that was like probably the most relaxed and fun part of my day, actually. Which for most people, that sort of interaction, would be considered stressful or work. And then, yeah, the next part I'd say is getting to see my sister after this, spending some time with her before she heads out to Santa Barbara.
And she lives here right now?
Yeah, she lives in Encinitas with my mom. And I'm up in Carlsbad, like South Carlsbad, basically one exit away. What about you? How was your day? Number one highlight.
My number one highlight was creating the content for this. I really enjoyed just thinking about the whole process and putting it down into this slideshow that I'll be sharing with you all. And it was really fun, just kind of going back and thinking about all the things that I've been through in my life and my experiences and the tools that I've learned throughout the process. Is really cool, just reminiscing. That was the highlight of my day.
Cool, yeah. I'm looking forward to what you have to share about family relationships, because that for me it's always been like a tough spot in my life trying to like smooth out. So any sort of insight in my personal story, that was good to hear.
That's a good segue right into it. So we are live right now, 6:32 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I got people just sending messages out. How do I join the Hangout? I'm just watching it. So let me get Raj in here real quick. So welcome to everyone that's out there watching right now to the Evo Room's discussion. And the discussion that we're having today is around healing family wounds. As Erica was just touching on, it's a challenging thing for her in her life. And I think it's challenging for many people. And after sharing my experience, with my related to my father, it was really awesome hearing, from people that all have had, experiences with their families that have been challenging, and figuring out how to overcome them. So I want to welcome you all, and tonight we have our special guest. I'll go from right to left. Raj just joined us. Raj, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm really excited to be here, actually. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for joining us. Matt Ritchie, right next to him. Matt Ritchie, say hello to the world.
Hello, hello. How are we doing tonight, everybody?
So Matt is going to be, he's a personal transformation expert, and he has some really awesome tools and tricks that he's been sharing with the world for a long time now, and I'm excited to have him on board with us. I'll go back one to Raj. Raj is here as a special guest. He's a really great friend of mine, and we're always into deepening relationships, and he shared some things with me about his family in a few of our relationships and some dynamics going on. So I'm excited to have him on to share some of the things that, if he feels open to doing it, of course, to share things going on with his family. Same thing with Erica, special guest with us tonight. I've only recently met Erica, but she's coming on because she shared with me in an email that she's been experiencing things with her family and some challenges. So she's going to share some of her experiences, and of course, Raj and Erica, feel free to ask any questions. And then over here to the far left, we have Andrew De Gregorio, also a personal transformation expert, comedian, just really proficient in moving energy and healing people on an energetic level. So I'm excited to have all these wonderful, beautiful people here for our discussion that we're going to have this evening. And anything anyone wants to share before we get started?
I'd love to just say that yeah, the topic of healing family wounds is so just spot on and exciting to me because I just had a son 8 weeks and 3 days ago, so he's almost 2 months. And thank you. So, by the way, if I have to scoot out early, please forgive me.
No worries.
But yeah, as I've dealt with my son, I've noticed that certain ways that I show up with him, I'm like, wait, until I can make a good relationship with my own father, like a really solid relationship, like that's going to continue to carry through to my son, because if I want my son to treat me a certain way, or I want to treat him a certain way, then I don't want to be a hypocrite in the way that I deal with my dad. So I'm starting to kind of see how, in order for us to heal the generations that go beyond, for me at least, I felt that you have to heal your own relationship to, your own family and to your own parents. And so this topic is just really interesting to me because I'd love to share, but I'd love to really learn from everyone's experience.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Raj. The ripple effect of the transformation that we undergo in our lives is tremendous. And one of the biggest reasons why we're doing this today is the generations that are coming. I'm having a daughter in February. So my thought processes are different in thinking about how I can create a world that's going to be just as good as it is for me, for her in that time when she grows up. So let's go ahead and get into this conversation, this discussion. So I'm going to share my screen and give you guys a looky at what we're going to be doing today.
That's kind of cool.
So can you guys see? Can you guys see the presentation?
It kind of looks like it's like mirrors and mirrors. Mirrors.
Yeah, moving into infinity there.
Moving into infinity. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go.
There it is.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to mute all you guys, and if you'd like to speak, you could just unmute yourself so that we can just get rid of any background noise. Mute. Okay. Muted, and we're good. So here we are, Evo Room, healing family wounds. So before we get started, I want to share a little bit about what is the Evo Room. What are we doing here? For those that haven't heard of what the Evo Room is yet, what we do is we create personal growth training experiences that are designed to raise consciousness and enhance 5 core areas of an individual's life: emotional well-being, physical well-being, nutrition, relationships, and finances. Because what we found is when an individual has any of those areas of their life lacking, then there's usually some type of dissonance and suffering. But by having all those areas in balance, then an individual can be in their fullest potential. So we create experiences that are group-based, workshops, parties, and soon we'll be doing concerts and festivals, all things that are entertainment combined with personal growth. So you'll experience, personal growth experts like some of the guests that we have today, Andrew and Matt. We do social experiments, community-based activities, movies, all kinds of really fun stuff. But the whole purpose of what we do is to optimize human performance. Okay? So let me expand the presentation here real quick. so you guys can better see it. I think that should be good. All right, so that's a little bit about the Evo Room. Now, why are we hosting this discussion? Well, the reason why is because last weekend my parents came into town, and normally in the past when family gets together, for me in my experience, I would feel kind of uneasy, feel some anxiety every time I would be around my family. A lot of experiences for me that were really traumatic and things that I held on to for such a long time. And through the work that I've done and tools that I've learned from a number of different people, I was able to free myself from the experience of having that constrained relationship with my father. And what I noticed after that was like this weight had come off me. It was so amazing. Like I felt lighter, freer, more grounded, more confident, more relaxed, more present. So when I experienced those things, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that I could feel like this light and this amazing. So, light bulbs started going off after conversations with a few of my close friends and the people around me and the conversation with my father. The light bulb went off. It's like, okay, well, if I'm experiencing this, then pretty damn sure that there's going to be quite a number of people that are experiencing the same thing. So after a discussion with Andrew, we decided, let's create a Google Hangout of this. Let's have a discussion. Let's share this information. Let's share our experiences, and see what unfolds out of that. So, that's the reason why we are having this discussion. And ultimately, what we're doing is that by offering this information to you and you freeing yourself, if that's something that's still part of your life experience, then you become a better individual, not only for your own your own life, but the life of those that are around you. And that is the ripple effect that we were just speaking about with Raj, that you pass along. And when you affect the people around in your community positively, then that ripples out to everyone else. And as a result, the planet becomes a more harmonious place just because you have taken the time to do the work on yourself to free yourself. So ultimately, not only is this going to be great for your well-being, but it's also going to be great for the well-being of all life on this planet. And this is the reason why we're hosting this discussion. So very, very important topic. And the intention that we have for you in this discussion is for you to learn easy to use tools that enable you to clear what may be keeping you limited. That is our intention for this discussion. And with these tools, we want you to have more clarity. We want you to enhance your relationships, make more money in your life, be in better physical health. And one of the really, really key things is to relieve yourself of anxiety and stress, which when we're constrained, we're not playing at our fullest potential. And when we're not playing at our fullest potential, then we're not going to create those extraordinary life experiences that are possible for each one of us, because we all have this power to transform, this power to change. And with that, of course, it's just going to affect everyone around us and the planet as a whole.
Jay, just one little comment I'll make about that is that, our beings are, we run on energy, and our channels of our energy, when they're constricted, when we're having resistance in our body, we constrict those channels of our energy, and then our vital life force is lessened. It's the same thing as like a hose. If you constrict it, the water doesn't flow out as easily. So totally get what you're saying. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Thank you for expounding on that, Raj. I appreciate that. It's really, really important to be conscious of our energy and where it's going, because when we show up with great energy, great things happen. When we show up feeling stressed or sad or in pain, then the likelihood of creating magic is decreased. So let's go ahead and go through the agenda for this discussion today. So the first thing that we're going to do is tuning in to learn. What's really important in the Evo Room for us is not what you learn, not as much what you learn, but how you learn it, because you can accelerate your learning, retain more, be a better student by understanding how to tune yourself up to learn better. So we're going to do that as the first thing before we get into any content. Otherwise, this is going to be a waste of your fucking time, and we don't want it to be a waste of your time. There's some really valuable information that we want you to soak in here, and that is important for us in the beginning. The next thing we're going to do is how to know when you're blocked. It's very self-explanatory. Next, we're going to go over tools and practices to release those blocks, and again, pretty self-explanatory. Of course, we're going to go into detail in this in a bit, and then we're going to go into the Life in HD program. This is a 6-week training that we're launching, and then after that, we're going to go to a little Q&A, and that gives the opportunity for all those that are viewing right now to ask questions that are pertinent to your life, and or ask questions about anything that is on your heart during this discussion. And also, with that said, in regards to the Q&A, we have Matt Ritchie right now who's going to be moderating for us. He's right now looking at the chat room that's available to you all. On the event page, there's a Q&A button, and you can click that button so that you can ask questions to us while we are on this discussion. And then if Matt feels like there's some content or a question that's really important to bring into the space, then he has the green light to do that. Okay? So tuning in to learn. First of all, why listen to us? One thing that's really important for us in the Evo Room is that we bring in experts that have actually created the results in their life that they are teaching to others. That's really important. So why listen to us? Well, all of the individuals that are the personal guests for us tonight have gone through these situations and have healed themselves, including myself. Recently, of course, going through the situation with my father, and recently in the last couple of years, losing my little sister to sickness, and also, a transition out of my marriage. Those were 3 really significant things that happened since 2013 for me in my life experience. Painful at the time, but I've now been able to overcome those situations to now be able to express myself in such a way that has created what my passion is to help people grow and also transform. Now, the next thing on this this slide that you see here is how you learn is really important, as I was addressing earlier. So we're going to tune in and we're going to talk about teachability, because if you're not willing to learn, if you're not open to learning, then the chance of you being able to take this information and apply it and actually receive the results decreases exponentially. So you got to be teachable, not only for topics like this, but in life in general. Always be willing to learn and to see what's out there, because there's so much information, there's so many things to learn during this lifetime, and you can't learn everything in this lifetime. But being really teachable is what leads to results. Now, also on this discussion, we want to encourage you and invite you to remove any distractions that may be going on around you right now. Turning your cell phone off, not picking it up during this discussion. If you have roommates or whatever, lock yourself into a room. Turn off music, because all of that energy around you is pulling on your consciousness, pulling energy from your consciousness, and it's like a battery. After a while, you feel drained, and that's when you feel tired, and then you go to sleep so you can recharge again. So by removing distractions, you maintain more energy so that you can use it to learn. Okay? And getting present, such a key thing that isn't taught enough in our culture, just being present and how to actually be present. So we're going to do that right now really quick, and I'm going to ask you all to take some time, just find a comfort zone, someplace where you could sit with your eyes closed for just a few minutes. And I'm going to take you through a little experience just really to get you present and in the moment so you could really soak in all this information that we're going to be sharing. So now that you have everything shut off, removed all the distractions, you're sitting in your stillness. I want you to take a couple deep breaths, really take in some oxygen, because oxygen relaxes the body, and a relaxed body is a body that is able to learn at a higher level. So take a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Another couple breaths, and as you exhale, exhale with some force to get the toxins out of your body. Got all kinds of things that come into your body throughout the day. Cars going by with smoke and chemicals and all kinds of things. So breathe out with force to get yourself relaxed. Breathe in deeply through your nose to bring in as much oxygen as you can into your body to relax you and get you present in the moment. And with your eyes remaining closed, after you've taken a couple deep breaths, I want you to see an image in your mind of a really peaceful place. This can be an ocean, mountaintop, river, just whatever comes into your mind as an image. A peaceful place. I want you to go there. And once you're at this peaceful place, I want you to get present to what you're actually sensing. What do you smell? What are you hearing? What are you feeling as around your body, the temperature around your skin? Now, with your eyes remaining closed, I want you to look off into the horizon of wherever you're at in your peaceful place. Look off into the horizon. And I want you to call upon your full potential self to appear. This is you at your best self. This is you at the most confident self. Just watch it emerge. Watch it come forth. It could be any image. And take some time just to sit with that image. Remain breathing deeply. Just feel into your body. And in 5 seconds, you're going to come out of that space and back into your body, into the room, and you're going to open your eyes in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. So now that you've gone through this process of tuning yourself into learning, we're going to jump into the content. So the first thing we're going to discuss is how to know when you are blocked. First of all, let's have a little, we'll dive into a little bit of the topic itself and what we mean by healing family wounds, because of course, obviously, we're not talking about actual physical wounds. So what are we talking about? And a little bit earlier, Raj had mentioned, energy and being aware of what our energy is like. And what can happen to an individual is if we don't release energy through our body, because we're all made of matter, right? Protons, neutrons, electrons spinning around in space. That's all energy. And energy needs movement, like a river. And what happens if a river gets dammed up and blocked? It gets stagnant, right? And that's when all the really yucky stuff starts to grow. But when it's flowing, then that's when the water's pristine, beautiful, all that good stuff. So just like your body, energy needs to flow. And in our culture, we're not really taught how to actually even first know when you're blocked, or that we even have energy flowing and it could be blocked, and we need to learn how to release it. That's not something that is common knowledge. So when we're talking about healing family wounds, these wounds aren't necessarily wounds like you would have from cutting yourself. These wounds are blockages of energy that are not permitted to flow, and as a result, your body starts to communicate to you that, hey, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So that's what we're talking about on the energetic level. When you have a wound, same thing as being blocked. So it's really important to be aware of when you have those blockages, because if you don't know that you're even blocked, then how can you actually release it and transform yourself? And the thing is that most people throughout their lifetime never have learned about the things that are blocking them, so what they feel is something that feels maybe normal to them, not realizing that they're even blocked. Sometimes it's when it's too late, when cancer starts to form, when dis-ease starts to form. That is the accelerated manifestation of blocked energy in an individual's consciousness. And of course, we don't want it to get to that level. That's why it's important to become aware and mindful of when our bodies and our consciousness are blocked. There's a high rate of cancer and all kinds of disease today, and this is one of the biggest reasons why that is part of our human experience right now, because people don't have the awareness of what it's like to be blocked and what to do when they are blocked.
Hey Jay, I want to just share one thing that came to me when you were sharing that. Is like, you know, when you're stagnant in your body, right? Energy gets blocked, and then things are not flowing as well, and like you said, the manifestation of like cancer and other kind of dis-ease occurs. And I was just thinking, like, that analogy you mentioned about the dam, and all sorts of funky stuff starts growing in there. Same thing in our body, because in order for our body to heal this funky stuff that might be there that's growing, we need to bring new, fresh blood to those areas with oxygen and all the things that are nutrient rich, so that it has the resources and the tools to go in and actually get rid of that cancer and actually fight. Because right now we have cancer cells in our body. Every one of us has cancer cells in our body all the time. They're like cells that like kind of have an ego and decide, I want to do something on my own. And then the other cells are like, we got to go and take this thing out. But if this ego or these cells that are trying to take control start getting out of control because we're not fighting it fast enough, that's when the disease basically becomes something where it feels almost irreversible. So that's definitely, these analogies, man, I mean, they really are, anyways, that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Raj. That's a great thing to touch on, the awareness around, when these blocks are happening within our body, because, of course, we don't want cancer, we don't want the disease, but it's something that we actually create ourselves because we're making the choice of not actually releasing those blocks. And I'd love to hear from Matt or Andrew in regards to this subject in terms of signs of being blocked. What are some things that we can look for, or that are symptoms of blockages within our consciousness?
I'll hop in on this really quick. Here we go. You guys hear me?
You can, yep.
You can hear me?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so great information so far. When you talk about becoming aware, it's that like fish in water, right? So when you become aware of that block, you have that ability to actually do something about it. You want a good indication of these blocks would be what you might call triggers. as you're walking around and you have you're having an interaction with maybe a family member or something, and they might say something and something pops up, you feel a little anxious or a little angry. It's a really good indicator that there might be a block in there, because that might be some stuck energy that might be coming up from a prior situation that might have occurred with, say, your father or anybody in your family, so you might get angry. So triggers like anything like being defensive, anxiety is a great way to find blocks. If you're anxious, something's going on. Anxiety is a good indicator of a block for me. In my experience, I used to have a lot of anxiety. What I was doing is I was resisting my current reality, you know, and also clinging to experiences that I once had that were great experiences. So by clinging to an experience that I once have, I was holding on and not letting go of these things. And what would happen is my thoughts would just over and over again ruminate. I'd be ruminating on the same thought over and over again, trying to release this energy. And this energy was actually blocked somewhere in my system. So anxiety, fear is a great indicator. So many triggers like that you could find out there, that you can actually use these triggers now. And I get excited when I get triggered, because I'm able to find blocks, because healing is always an ongoing process, and triggers are a great indicator for these blocks. So it's definitely a good place to start with, like anxiety, fears, defense mechanisms, things like that. And you can feel it in your system, especially around your heart or solar plexus, where I really feel it.
Awesome. Beautiful information, Andrew. Thank you for that.
I would like to, can I chime in on something like that, James?
Most definitely. Go for it.
Yeah, so that's good stuff. Thanks, Andrew. When it comes to, you know, recognizing blockages, or anything for that matter, we really have to know our normal state, right? And the only way to know ourselves is to get to know ourselves. Like, every day, like, check in, like, where am I at? Certain times, like, say when you find a trigger, check in, like, where am I at? So then you'll know on a day-to-day basis if I'm feeling irritated, or if I'm feeling off, or if I'm feeling just, unaligned or uninspired. It's much easier to be in tune with what's going on around you if you know, like, your normal state, and you're very in tune with, how you normally feel. And in doing that, like, when I started doing that, becoming aware, being more conscious of how I felt and what I thought and all those things, it just, like, spurred so many different things to focus on, whether it be just not physically feeling the best and changing my diet and exercise, to relationships and dynamics between people and everything in between. So but just kind of finding your own normal is the best way to know when you're triggered, because that way you'll kind of have that normal homeostasis, if you will, and then you can kind of be like, okay, something feels off today. Yeah, something's different. Like, let me explore that.
I got something to add to that as well. That point is dead on. He's absolutely right. But there was something that I experienced with that was, up until recently, what I considered my normal state was anxiety. It wasn't my actual normal state. So I wasn't even aware of my normal state. So once I found that, that was a great place for me to check in. So I want to, kind of share that experience where when I was unblocked, I finally started to release old traumas, old wounds. I started to reconnect with my normal state, to understand that I don't have to walk through life anxious or afraid or scared or blocked from my greatest potential. So now I understand what my normal state is. I can drop into that and I can check into that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and one of the biggest challenges is that when an individual is blocked for so long, they may not even know what their normal state is, and they think that having anxiety or being in fear all the time is the normal state of being. So it's really important for an individual to become aware of that. Like, that's not you. That's not the normal state of a human being. When they come into this planet, into this earth, we are at peace, we are love, we are joy. And only when we learn things and get conditioned through these experiences that all the dissonance starts to really become part of our experience. So let's get back into the screen share. We're looking good, everybody? Can I see it? All right, and if you can't see it, one of you guys come on and let me know. So signs of being blocked, we just went over that. And now tools and practices to release blocks. So of course, one step in the process is first to identify when you're blocked. We gave you a couple of those, how to look for the signs. And now, once you become aware of what those things are or that they're present in your consciousness, then of course the next step is to release those blocks so that you can free yourself. So there are several, there's a number of different modalities for clearing blocks. So we're going to share just a few of them in this discussion, but just know that there's so much out there for you to learn and training that you can do to release blocks and release energy in your consciousness, from your consciousness. So one of those things that I really like and that has been my go-to is what is called holodynamics. And holodynamics basically is using holograms, because we use images a lot in our consciousness. When you close your eyes, and I took you through that experience of looking at your full potential self and looking at a place of peace, those images can be information that can show you where you're blocked and give you information of where you're blocked. So basically in holodynamics, the tracking process is where you go into a state of being, a relaxed state of being, and in that state of being you can track information through images that are that pop up in your mind, and then through that you can be guided towards certain things that may be blocking you, and you receive information of what's blocking you. The next thing that you see on this list is energy work. So some of you may have heard of Reiki masters, and there's many others within this particular silo just in itself of energy workers that can come in and do work on your body, basically do work in your consciousness. And Matt or Andrew and even Raj, I think you're proficient in this as well because you've done a lot of work on yourself. What are some of the things that you guys have used in the past to release blocks of energy?
Well, I'll chime in here and say that, it's interesting because I actually had an injury on my back when I was 17. Actually, I let a friend of mine sit on my shoulders at a party, and the guy was not small. He's bouncing on my back, not thinking that he's not a little girl, and it was oh, something happened, and it was pretty bad. And since I've been 17, 16 years, I've gotten probably 1,500 massages. Massage, I'm talking about all energy work, let's say. Massage, Reiki, Swedish, Thai, Ayurvedic, Chinetsang, all sorts of Chinese-related, remedies, all sorts of things I've done. And because I was on this path of healing my pain in my body and the injuries that I had, and what I realized was that while they were working on me physically, okay, and they were working on some of these knots in my back, in my neck, throughout my body, and they were really helping to, let's say, release some of the stagnation, okay? In the beginning when I used to get massage, I noticed that when they would work on me, I would, I could still kind of tighten up a little bit while they're working, if they're really doing some deep work or whatever, I would tighten up, and they would always tell me, hey, you gotta breathe. Breathe with me. That's where the work is. You got to breathe. You got to keep the energy moving through your system so it can flow through. And so what I learned after receiving so much massage, I started doing it too and giving others. And what I learned was that actually when I was working with somebody, if they were not breathing with it, it was just staying tight and stuck. And what I realized, what connection I made was that when you're breathing while it's being touched, you're actually there's actually release happening in your mind, in your emotional body, in all of these things. So we think that the massage therapist is coming in there and working out our energy blocks. You know, we're working on our knots, but actually they're just holding space so that we can breathe prana, vital life force, into our being and send that prana, that healing energy, to those areas that those people are working on. And when that happens, what I've noticed, and what I've noticed with other people, is that there's a release, not just in the body, but at the same time in the mind, where we feel better. And it's like, which one released first, the body or the mind? You know, if I was going to choose one, I would say the mind, the emotional body released first, and then it let go in the body. But I don't know for sure. I consider them synchronized, you know, in that sense. And so definitely there is a huge relationship between the emotions and the body, and if somebody has tight muscles, it's always, you can always come down to some explanation of something that's going on inside.
Wow. That brings me to, thank you for sharing that, Raj, first of all. And that brings me to the thought of how thoughts actually are things. And in my research that I've done, what they've proven with science is that thoughts actually have matter to them. It's like steam coming off of broccoli, right? It's the broccoli changing and transforming into another form. Same thing with your thoughts. If you really think about it, like the car I'm looking at out this window, this computer, this lamp, this desk, all first started as a thought before it became a thing. Someone had to think about the possibility of like, oh, this desk can exist, or this car can exist, or this phone can exist. And then whatever needed to happen for all the resources to come into place for that thing to manifest, that material thing is the manifestation of the thought. So when Raj is talking about, you know, massage and when we're touching our bodies we can release, well, when we're thinking about things, the feeling and the motion that we have, the emotion that we have, the emotion is actually the manifestation of the thoughts. So if you're thinking about maybe you know, experience that you've had in the past of breaking up with an ex, you know, or breaking up from, or transitioning out of a romantic relationship, and then what's the feeling that you get, you know, from that? If I think of certain experiences that I've had, you know, I feel a little bit constricted. Well, those thoughts that I'm having of the past stuff is actually now manifesting into this reality in this moment through the energy and emotion that I'm feeling. That is profound stuff to really, really understand and get as a human being, because when you do, that is where the power lies. If you want to create the most amazing relationships in your life, you want to create money, you want to be the best athlete in the world, understand this basic thing about how those thoughts flow into manifestation, into reality, and your life will change. Raj, go for it, dude.
Somebody told me this. I'm like, it said, your intention and your thoughts lead to your language. Or let's say your intention and your thoughts determines the language that which you speak to yourself or to others. The language that you use leads to actions, okay? And your actions ultimately leads to your results, and the results in your life and your manifestations ultimately determines your destiny. And so essentially your intention and your thought determines your destiny. Therefore, meditation and other practices that you're talking about that allow you to have a better relationship between your mind, your body, your breath, your thoughts, and have them in that soul-mind-body unification, which is like yoga, is the unification of all of that. You know, by having that, then you don't have these schisms and dissonance that's going on in that cycle of intention and thoughts into your destiny. You have much more fluidity and flow that happens, and you're not going like this and like, oh, but you have more of a you might still have that journey, but there's just a more of a harmonious.
Momentum. It's like momentum towards a certain experience that you're creating. This is something we touched on in the conversation we had the other day, Raj. So that's spot on.
Yeah, I want to add something to this as well. So, we think about, we know that we're all energy. Everything we're speaking about is energy, right? When you look within, it's like what's going on inside of you is reflected externally, right? So the reflection of your externals is what's happening inside, right? So that's why you heal these wounds. You unblock yourself because you want to create the reality that you want. So if there's a lot of chaos, a lot of fear inside, that's what your reality is going to be, chaos and fear. So when you have the tools and practices that we're showing, those actually, each one of those tools and practices or healing modalities, they're all energy work. Just writing something down, journaling is releasing energy. Going to therapy and speaking is releasing energy. Massage, energy work, moving energy, all that is all energy work, so it's all related. So you can see all the concepts, how they all can kind of all meet up and how they all can back each other with, energy, releasing the core belief systems that get stuck, the negative patterns that keep showing up over and over again. When you heal those and you release those, as Raj said, you go, instead of this, you're doing this. Is the way he said it, exactly right. Like this reality that you live, your thoughts and all the internals are creating the reality that you desire and that you want. That's why we work inward to create what we want outward, externally.
Booyah. I love it. Our thoughts create our reality. Very simply. And be aware and mindful of your thoughts, because it's actually the reality and experience that you're having in your life.
Can I give everyone a quick tool to use?
Yeah, definitely. Please.
So you mentioned holodynamics, and that's one of many sciences of the brain and subconscious mind in general and how it works. Another one is NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, and one of the small tools that I've used over the last 3 years studying NLP, and I help other people who've done this as well, is if you have an anchor our mind likes to link our memories to images, right? So, if I say don't think of a pink elephant, well, you're still thinking of a pink elephant, right? And so anytime you have an image or you have a thought, it has an image attached to it essentially. So if you go through your emotions or you figure out what it is that's like bothering you and you want to release some of the emotion around it, then I can take you through this really quick process. We can do that. So if everyone out there is listening, close your eyes. Give me a few deep breaths. And just imagine something that maybe makes you feel uneasy, or you feel fearful, or some sort of emotion you would label as negative that you want to shift. Start to think of that, and as your eyes are closed, notice what image pops up with that. What memory does that pull in? And as you're looking at this memory, it's really big. It's on your screen. It's full HD color. You can see it all. Maybe you can hear things. You might be able to smell whatever's going on there. And if you're able to take this image, and the first thing you want to do is turn it to black and white. So you have this full HD color, all of a sudden, boom, it's black and white. And now you have this big black and white image. Why don't you go ahead and take your hands and just kind of shrink it down. Just kind of push in on all the sides. Make it maybe this little box right in front of you. And then you just kind of move that box down in the right-hand corner. And now when you think of that same image, or now when you think of that same thought, how does it make you feel? Does it feel like some of the emotional charge is gone? The scariness and the immediateness can be taken out when we take away the dimensions of the realness of it, of the color, of the size, of the intensity, and we can relink those thoughts to something new. So since we shrunk that anchor, then we would find the root cause of whatever it is you were experiencing there, or whatever you want to feel, and then we implant that instead. And you can create an image, say, of fun, of happiness, of confidence, of whatever it is you want to feel instead when you think of that, and then you put that image in its place. And we can do a bunch of other things where you pull that one bigger and brighter, make it HD, put all your senses so you can smell, touch, see, taste, everything of that, and fully engulf yourself as that, as it sinks in as your new reality for that anchor.
Mm.
And I've learned to do this pretty quickly, actually, and almost comes subconsciously now, because like when I'll have a certain thought or an image of something, sometimes I'll just close my eyes and like do that really quickly and just run it through whatever I want. And I can do it within 10 to 15 seconds. And I can shift. Because when you think of something, that automatically will make you feel a certain way, right? It starts with a thought. When we think of something negative, sometimes we'll contract, or sometimes we'll just feel, whatever, just stir some sort of emotion. And of course, I'm all for moving through those. So you want to identify them, move through the core beliefs or the core problem of what that is, and you can shift it in that moment if it's a, if it's a memory, if it's something that you want to change the way you feel about it when you think of it.
Hmm. Thank you for that, Matt. I was noticing the similarities between holodynamics and the process that you just went through. We're using that imagery to really change the way we feel and change the actual dynamics of our consciousness. So thank you for sharing that. Now at this time, I want to just acknowledge a few of the people that have been on with us throughout this conversation, and I'd like to hear from some of you all, or all of you. Let's see, we have Felipe, who just came on. I think he's muted right now, and you could unmute yourself, Felipe, if you'd like to say hello. Erica, I would love to hear from you. What your thoughts are, the impact of this discussion, and how you may be thinking about things as related to your life. Same thing, and we got Alex, from Florida. He's over on the far left of this Google Hangout with us as well. We'd love to hear from any one of you to share any of the impact or any thoughts or any truth that's in your heart right now.
Yeah, I think this is a great topic. I'm on with you guys because I just had a trigger happen to me recently, and I wanted to deal with it. You guys hear me okay?
We can, yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, my mom just came back from Europe. She was on vacation for a couple months, and it was kind of nice. I was flying, and then she came back, and I welcomed her with open arms, and she gave me a call, and I planned to have a really nice day with her at the beach and at the pool. And the night before the Friday, when she was going to hang out with me, she calls me super stressed out that her car won't start. She's got to cancel the plans. She's got to change the whole thing. And I'm like, took a deep breath, used some of my meditation techniques, looked at the balanced perspective of it all, and said, Mom, we can come up with a creative solution. Like, I can pick you up, you can borrow my car, we can rent you a car. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. That didn't really work for her, so she wanted to really stress out about it, and she basically canceled on the play date. And so I got off the phone with her, and the next day I reached out and I was like, hey, if I can help in any way, or you still want to hang out, let's get together. No response. So what I ended up happening is I took that, and even though I backed off of it, I worked with that in my mind all weekend. Like, oh man, she's just sitting there depressed, and not hanging out with her son when she could have hung out with her son, probably bitching about her car, and that Friday I told her, I was like, just call AAA, you can see what's wrong with your car. She's like, oh, we'll see, I'm stressing out about it. So Sunday I finally call her, I'm like, hey, let's hang out with the family. And she's all in a great mood, and I'm like, wow, all right, cool. And she's like, yeah, I called AAA and they replaced my battery, my car's working great. And I just took a second for myself. I was like, damn, I just spent this weekend like worrying about all this shit, and like she wasn't even worrying about it. So, I took this stressful situation that she had, and I actually brought it upon myself to make it a stressful situation for myself. And all the work I've been doing, I was pretty surprised that that this trigger still existed for myself. And did a lot of work around it over the weekend, and then yesterday and today. So
well, it's great that you're just even aware of it, because now you can release that energy of taking on that stress and that anxiety. And I appreciate you for sharing that story, because it brings up one of the things that we were talking about, which is from our family members or people that are around us. And as young children, we're not taught, okay, you need to release that energy or even conscious of it. So that energy then builds up, builds up, builds up, and then you bring it into the present moment as an adult, because you haven't released it, from your consciousness. And what you just shared with us, Alex, is a great example of that. This trigger for you may have been embedded in your consciousness from when you were 4, 5, 6, or who knows, right? But then when it's really amazing when we start to track where those triggers are, where those blockages are, we can actually get the information of where they came from, where you start to remember experience of when you were 5 years old, where you were scolded or whatever happened, and then that became the reason that you decided to do or to exude a certain behavior for the rest of your life and protect yourself or whatever that behavior is.
yeah,
So extremely important to be aware and just even be mindful first that the blockages are even existing.
yeah. One of the things I noticed was my attachment to it. So it was one thing to listen to my mom venting, stressing, and trying to offer creative solutions, but my attachment to that for the entire weekend was where I kind of faltered. And as I analyzed my life and really, and I spoke to a life coach about it, and I recognized that a lot of the frustration I have with my mom has to do with the fact that she always vents to me, and it's something that from my youth I've always looked for the love in the vent. It's like if I could listen to her and listen to her vent, that's where I was getting my love, because most of the conversations I had with her were very like stressful situations. So I kind of it opened up some stuff for me there.
Wow. Well, I'd love to work through that with you if you're open to it offline, Alex. There's some good stuff to bring into the space, and definitely some things that we could work on. I'd love to help you with, and of course, those that are on this panel as well have some tools that I'm sure they would love to share.
Yep, sounds good. I'm open.
Thank you again for sharing. Let's see, Erica, did you have anything to share before we jumped into Life in HD?
You guys hear me?
It's a little low. Go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
It's better. I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been doing so far the past hour, hearing about working through, identifying and then working through unconscious blockages. For me right now, I definitely am aware that there's a lot of unconscious blockages with my family. What my background is. We were, at least what I've seen with a lot of Asian families, is they're very stoic, and like the way they show affection is like no affection at all. So I grew up with my family, my parents, like never hugging, never kissing, never like asking how are you. Like no news is usually good news in my culture, and he grew up like pretty distant and dysfunctional, and my dad's like a really ambitious doctor, and he worked a lot of hours and didn't ever spend a lot of time with the family, and my mom was almost like smotherly micromanaging kind of to overcompensate the fact that my dad was gone a lot. And even to this day, like I'm 22 right now. I opened up my business earlier in the year, and I'm really trying to define who I am. And I've realized because I'm not connected with my family and like my background, that it's hard for me to like move forward and figure out what I want to do with the rest of life because I don't have like those roots that most people, do have, and like a sense of belonging with their family and a lot of close relationships.
Mm.
So like I can tell an unconscious blockage is there's times when I'll just become very apathetic and just like not want to do anything, become antisocial, get really heated up over a trigger, like somebody will bring something up, and out of nowhere I'll just become really emotionally reactive over it. Lots of brain fog sometimes. Like I won't know what day it is. Like things will just kind of be a blur because I'm not living in the moment and I'm not in the present, regardless of some of the techniques I have been using, such as daily meditation. And I have been learning about NLP, and I'm going to see a practitioner next week actually to see if I can work privately through a blockage. But a lot of the pain in my life does come from like my relationship or lack thereof with my dad. And it's almost like looking at him is like looking in the mirror because we think the same, we're both really ambitious, we like love the same hobbies, we're both very competitive, and he always kind of put me on a pedestal and pushed me to become a doctor and to like be like him and to be really successful. And we never talk these days. Like just to even like be in the same room with him sometimes is like you can feel the energy like be so tense, just like radiating him. Like we can't even like look each other in the eye if we have to like be around each other because it's like so like agonizing and painful. And like all my dialogue with my dad is usually through my mom. My mom will be like, "Oh, your dad is wondering if XYZ happened or if the car insurance got fixed and stuff like that." So and I can tell that's affecting my personal relationship. I'm having difficulty connecting with. I'm in a new relationship about a month and a half or maybe two, and I'm having trouble just communicating how I'm feeling and really getting close in my personal relationship. And I think it's because I'm disconnected from my family. So yeah, like working through blockages is any sort of resource. Like when I heard about this webinar, I was like, I gotta go in on it and see, what techniques people are using and to hear other people's stories to know that if someone else has been in a similar situation, like I'm sure there's definitely a solution.
Yeah. First, I'll thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, your life experience, your family experience, and all that you've been through and still continue to experience. As you were sharing that, one of the things that was coming up for me is that what you're experiencing and what other people experience with their family dynamics, if they are traumatic and there's some negative stuff and stuck energy and blockages going on, it affects every facet of our lives. It affects our physical health. It affects how much money we make. It affects our romantic and just even, relationships with our friends. All the areas of our life are affected and influenced by the experiences and the way that we connect with our family or have lack of connection with our family. And that's what you're experiencing, but the great thing to know is that there are tools and there's a way to move through that. And I have a great example of that, of what it's like to be around, or in the past being around my family and especially my father, where I would feel that tension like you were talking about, Erica. But now being able to be free and just see him as the great man that he is and to feel so much love in that space is it's indescribable. And I want that for you, and I want that for everyone that's listening, and as many people that are around the world that are open to it, I want it for them as well. So, and the way that we're going to offer that is a great segue into what I want to discuss with you all right now, which is the 6-week training program that we've created called Life in HD. Now, before I go into what actually the program is about, I'm going to tell you the reason why we created it. One of the most difficult challenges in the process of personal growth and transformation is the transformation itself. And why it becomes so difficult is because throughout the years, you're creating neural pathways. Every time you think a thought or a belief about something or a thought about something, you're creating a neural pathway that's then being strengthened through consistent thinking of that same thought. So by the time you get to your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and older, you've created neural pathways that when you try to change your behavior, those neural pathways that have been strengthened over time take over again, because this is your pattern of behavior. This is what your consciousness knows. It's known this way of behaving for all the years that you've had that behavior. And in order to change it, it takes a lot of conscious effort and support around that, especially the older that we get. So it is completely doable and possible for you to make the changes yourself, by yourself, through your own consciousness and abilities that are already inherent with every human being. But in this day and age, the best way to really transform and change is to have support around you and guidance in the things that you may not be an expert in. I've spent a great deal of time in my life, many years, figuring it out for myself. How do I get rid of this anxiety, this fear, pain, and all kinds of dissonance that was in my life? And born from that was the Evo Room, which is really me expressing and sharing my journey and experience of healing myself first. And through that, I've discovered the things that have worked really well for me, the things that I was able to do by myself, and the things that I wasn't able to do by myself. So out of that, and through experiencing and observing other modalities and processes that have worked, we've created a program that is specific to creating a solution for that challenge, which is making the shift to change. Doing something as simple as like quitting sugar. For as many people as probably tried it on this panel, how difficult is that for a lot of people? I don't know how many times I've gone through the process and failed many times trying to quit sugar. Simple shit, you know? So having a support system around it is really, really important. Think of people like Michael Jordan. This guy has coaches for almost every facet of his life. For, of course, basketball, or when he played basketball. His nutrition, he had a chef to teach him about food, nutrition, and how to optimize his performance through that. He had his massage therapist to take care of his physical body. Like, he had all these experts around him that were better than him in these areas to teach him and to train him how to transform and accelerate that transformation, and that's what it can do for you. These programs, whether it be the Life in HD program or other programs out there, they can help accelerate the process of transformation. And that's what we want for you, because we don't want you to be 60, 70, 80 years old before you really free yourself. Free yourself from the emotional jail that a lot of people, including myself, have been in for a long time. So that's the reason why we created Life in HD. And let me share my screen with you. Okay, so what is Life in HD? This is a 6-week training that teaches you how to activate your flow state, or some may know it as being in the zone. So athletes are ones that or individuals that express this state of being a lot because they're so in the moment. This is you being an effortless creation. That's what it's like to be in a flow state. You're really not even trying to create or do in your life. It just happens, or it feels like that. You could hear people like, again, I'll use Michael Jordan as an example. You've seen probably many times of him playing basketball where he's just like killing it, crushing it, but he makes it look so easy. Well, how do we get into that state of being? And there's been a lot of studies around this recently of how to get into the flow state, and we've been doing our research as well of how to activate it. Most people activate it through default. There are a specific set of tools and practices you can do to learn how to activate it at will. And this is what this program is about, because when you learn how to activate the flow state at will, this is the dimension of living life in HD, when now your life goes from good to fucking fantastic, where you see colors more deeply, sharply. You hear things like you're a superhero that come from nowhere. Your body, everything that you feel is enhanced. The experience is enhanced. You feel more alive. That's why it's called Life in HD. That's what we're creating for you through this program. It's based on 3 really important aspects of personal growth. Fun. If it's not fun and you don't enjoy it, you're probably going to stop doing it, right? And fun is also a really amazing tool for raising your consciousness and getting into the flow state, which people don't even realize that. Community. Community is so important because sometimes you have blind spots, you don't know what you don't know, and having a community of people around you that can support you can help you see those blind spots and understand where there is a potential for growth. And not only that, but community is about holding you accountable. And change can be difficult sometimes, as we were just talking about. And having a community of people that are holding you accountable motivates you to actually do what you know needs to be done, practice the things that need to be practiced in order for you to actually transform and change. And then tracking. Being able to measure results is crucial. It's crucial in business. It's also crucial in your personal growth. So if you don't know that something isn't working or not, you continue to do it and you don't see results from it, then you're probably going to quit. But by tracking it, measuring it, and understanding what's working and what's not, this not only accelerates your transformation, but it then makes the transformation stick. So what this program, this 6-week training consists of is, as you see at the top there, group discussions. So weekly we have Google Hangouts like this where we pick a specific topic, like the topic that we're talking about, and we bring personal growth experts to talk about those things, just like we're doing right now. So these discussions happen once a week. And they're interactive with your group. We have a group of 10 people, or 10 to 15 people that we're going to bring into this first Life in HD 6-week training that we're doing. So you're going to be doing weekly discussions with this group. The next thing we're offering in the Life in HD program is one-on-one coaching, because you have things in your life that are different from other people in your life. So you're going to need that ability to share those life experiences with an individual that can take you through your process specifically just for you. So we offer one-on-one coaching. You'll have one session included in the 6-week training program, and if you want to continue with that coach or find another coach, then that's available to you at cost. Then we have what's called growth assignments. These are really fun assignments that we give you, and these are designed to learn and apply the things that you're learning through the growth or the Life in HD program. So for example, maybe the topic for the week is going to be connection, right? And the growth assignment that we give you is to go into a restaurant, and your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to make eye contact and eye gaze with every individual in the restaurant before you leave that restaurant. Just an example of maybe one of the things that we're going to be doing here. We create them on the fly specifically for the individuals that are part of the program. So these are growth assignments, and you'll receive one assignment per week that you're going to do. The next thing that we have for the Life in HD program is Conversations with Ninjas. These are actual physical meetups with your group. Bi-weekly. Every other week, you're going to get together in a physical space with your group, and you're going to learn about a specific topic that can't be learned online. And the beauty of these Conversations with Ninjas is that when you're in physical space learning, it forces you to be present. Whereas if you're doing online training, you could be playing on your phone or playing with your boyfriend or girlfriend next to you or doing something else, being distracted. But when you have the physical or training in physical space, it allows you to be more present. And not only that, science has proven you become what you surround yourself with. So if you're consistently surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that are on the path for growth, you increase the opportunity and chance for you to change and to transform. So Conversations with Ninjas, every other week, we get together, we find we've secured some really beautiful venues, luxurious venues for you to have these experiences and for you to have these trainings. And then at the end of the 6-week training, I'd written there grad party, but it says rad party, which is awesome because it's going to be a rad party. This is a celebration of your transformation. And this is something that we do really well in the Evo Room, which is to celebrate. Celebrate yourself, love yourself, because that is the key to growth and transformation, loving yourself and doing this work. So that's what's included in this Life in HD program for 6 weeks. Now the investment is $997 to participate. But if you really think about it, what's it worth to have peace when you walk in to your family at Christmas and not feel stress or anxiety because of past experiences that have happened? What's it worth to have clarity for your business or for your work that you're doing in your life? Way more than the investment that you would make into this. And there's so much more value that can be gained from this experience. $997 for 6 weeks of fun, amazing people, conversations like we just had, and enlightenment, and a chance to like taste the sweetness of life on a whole different level. Now, of course, you can break this into payment plans, and you can have discussions with myself or Matt, Andrew, about this program. And if you're interested, there's an application process where we do a little video chat. We really get to know who you are and if you're fit for this group that we're putting together, because all that we do is personalized and customized for the individual, because everybody is different. So we do these Google Hangouts to gather information, and then we determine, okay, who's the best fit to be with each other, who are those like-minded individuals, because that is an important part of the process, is to be with people that are going to support and encourage your evolution and transformation. So again, if you want to apply, send the email off, as you see there, jay@theevolutionroom.com. So that concludes the content portion of this discussion. And I'm going to take off this screen. So here I am, and we were going to 6:30 to 8, so we got 10 minutes left for some more Q&A and discussion before we sign off for this evening. So I'd love to take this time for any one of you to share, to ask any questions that you may have from this discussion, or just make some comments or whatever you'd like. Not everyone at once.
Hey everybody. Hey Jay, how are you, bro?
I'm doing wonderful, Felipe. How are you?
Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, we can.
Perfect, brother. First of all, I have to agree with what you say that it is really important to have a supporting group. Congratulations with what you've done with the Evo Room. It's a beautiful work what you're doing and building a community for people to find their own light and find their own purpose. I think it's really valuable. Like you said, with your own personal process, you had to do it by yourself and figure it out. For me, has been the same. I don't know. I know Matt knows my story. I think I shared my story with you in Burning Man last year. For everybody, a little bit of my story. When I was 11, I was forced, I was put in a wheelchair by a motorcycle accident. So, but from age 11 to age 24, 4, 5, which I am right now, it has been a personal process of redefining my own paradigms, changing and shifting from lack of love to a place of love. And doing it by yourself is not easy. And I do believe the Evo Room is a powerful group, is a powerful mastermind of people that will help you get there to a place of love, to a place of abundance, that will bring you the tools to shift your own paradigms and really see transformation in your life. On a side note, on my personal process in the last 14 years, the biggest tool I would recommend to anybody would be psychedelics. If you go into your own consciousness in a responsible, educated, informed way, I don't think there's other tools as powerful as this. Not even meditation. If you do it every single day.
I think we're losing Felipe.
It's almost like he got bleeped. He got bleeped. He was talking about psychedelics, and Google's like, take him off, take him off. Hey, get this guy off.
The FBI is watching you, Felipe.
It may have ascended. He might actually ascended just now.
He did.
14 years he's been going at personal transformation. He just left the earth.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, you witnessed your first Google Hangouts ascension.
live in the Evo Room. Felipe just ascended.
Oh, he's back. He came back to the dimension.
He's back in our dimension. That's awesome. Felipe, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, brother, I can hear you.
We lost you for about a couple minutes.
Yeah, we lost you.
We heard you say psychedelics, and then
you went.
Damn, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah, you paused and the screen.
I'm so sorry. No, I was telling you guys that in my personal process from age 11 to age 25, from where I had to stand up from a wheelchair to the place I am right now, I had to shift my perception from a place of lack of love to a place where I am right now, which is full of abundance and full of love for myself and for the world. And the biggest tool I've encountered in the past 14 years has been psychedelics. So to everyone out there who's maybe having a rough time and is wanting to try something new, I would definitely recommend getting the research done, educating yourself, and putting yourself in a safe environment to explore your own consciousness. And with that in mind, I would have to say that the biggest teacher of all is ayahuasca. But remember that these are not party drugs. This is something to do with much more responsibility than anything else you'll ever do in your life. So from my personal experience and from my own journey, this is something that that I would like to share with the world. I was also saying that to everyone out there who's having a rough time, I would definitely recommend joining the Evo Room, because the group of people you'll find here, I bet you won't find there anywhere else. So I'm proud of you, Jay, for putting all of this together, and I can only wish abundance for this project and for every other project that all of you guys are pursuing in your life.
Thank you, Felipe. And I can't wait to bring the Evo Room there to your country and into Colombia and having the experience there. And thank you for the acknowledgement and your love, man. I could feel it from you, and it's amazing to meet you at Burning Man last year and to see your growth and transformation. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. So we got a few more minutes left, 4 minutes before we hit the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. And I'd love to hear any final comments or shares or anything you guys want to give as some hot gems.
I mean, it's an acknowledgement I want to give you, Jay, for putting this talk together and, for inviting me to be a part of it. And I just, I really listen. I've been through a lot of personal development work, Tony Robbins, Peak Potential, World Works, Deepak Chopra, and Landmark. The list goes on. I kind of became like a personal development, transformational work junkie for some time, and I really listen in. I really tune in and listen to anything that might feel like there's ulterior motives, or maybe things that are misaligned with intentions of the people that are sharing their product or their service. And today I felt such a purity from you, from Matt, from Andrew, from the whole group. And first of all, I know the three of you. I'm friends with you guys, and there's a reason why I am, because you guys are awesome. But it's beautiful to see that the friends of you that I am, you guys are actually that same self you're bringing into your work, into the world, with that same level of integrity. And not everyone does that. Some people justify and rationalize their work as out of, like, oh, you got to kind of just play the game, I'll be a good person, but, when it comes to business, got to hustle or do my thing, and, it's okay to be dishonest, whatever. And I just feel like with you guys, you really want to help. You're offering a program that is so inexpensive it's so, like, valuable for the price you're offering, and I know it's because you just want to get this work out into the world and get momentum with this Evo Room. And it's funny, I feel like the Evo Room is like, 20 years from now we're going to look back and be like, oh my god, remember when Jay was doing those little hangouts? Like, there's like 8 people, now there's like 80 people standing in line just to meet him at this event. Like, dude, remember that? Because that's what people talk about Tony Robbins, actually, 20 years ago, where he had like 20 people in his house for an event. And now he's got events that have 15, 20,000 people. So, or 10,000, whatever it is, a lot of people. So anyways, I just thank you so much for doing the work that you're doing, and so excited to see just the continual unfolding and evolution of the Evolution Room.
You're awesome, Raj. And to all those out there, we did not pay Raj to say any of this.
Yeah, thanks, Raj. That's some really, really amazing words, man. Like, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge. First of all, you have such a deep well of knowledge and information. Everything you said, so heart-centered, so amazing. Just to share this space with you, and for everybody else as well. Just everyone's been very open, very vulnerable, and coming from their heart. And I have so much respect for everybody in here and everybody that's going through this process of taking some time and to come to a chat like this, or giving it a chance to really show up somewhere for themselves. And that's one of the first steps of showing yourself that love, and that process of reconnecting with yourself so you can hit that full potential in life. I have a lot of respect for everybody for doing that. It takes a lot of courage, and it's one of for some reason, we like to explore the whole world, the universe, and depths of oceans, but when we turn ourselves inward and look inward, we get nervous or scared. And it's like, to me, that's such a powerful exploration. you get so much knowledge, learn so much about yourself, and you get so many benefits reconnecting with your family, uh, uh, forming amazing friendships with people like Jay and Raj and everybody in this room, Matt, and you get to explore so many amazing things by looking inward. And when I found that connection and when that happened, and it continues to happen, always will continue to heal and grow. So to have a support team behind it and having a group of individuals that have been on a path and a process like this, there's no price that could actually ever. I mean, it's so invaluable. It's amazing. This is epic, and I really appreciate those words, Raj, and thank you, man, for coming on and supporting and showing love.
Thank you for that, Andrew. It's funny, Raj, because what you just shared, it took me back to actually you hosted the first Evo Room ever, October 2013, at your house. So thank you for that once again. And I remember that evening when we closed, what your share was. I don't know if you remember this, but you said, you know, Jay, I've been sitting here the whole day, and you know, you were kind of saying the same thing about, you know, going to all of these different personal growth seminars, and you know, the whole day you were just waiting for, like, where's their pitch? Like, where are they going to try to sell me? Like, when is that happening? And it never happened, right? Because we didn't have any pitch. We just were there to share with the people, like, here's what can be beneficial in your life, and we just want to share it with you. And I remember when you said it then, and it's so awesome that you're saying it now, once again, because that's the passion that we all have within the Evo Room, is just to really share this, because I want to create a better life for my daughter who is coming into this world. I want to create a better life for your son, Raj, for everyone's children that's on this planet and will come, and for all those that are already here. We can make that beautiful place right now. But it starts with you as an individual first, healing yourself so that you can tap into that amazing, beautiful, infinite power that exists within you, that's inherent within all of us. Don't let anyone tell you different, that you are weak or that you aren't capable, because you are. You just have to learn the tools and the tricks of how to get yourself there. And it's not really difficult stuff. It's very simple. But because we've been trained otherwise and conditioned otherwise, and some say that there's powers that be that don't want you to step into your power, well, we are there to be there for you so that you can actually tap into that and live life in HD. So thank you very much for everyone for joining us this evening, for listening, for giving us your time, your energy, your consciousness, your love. I want to thank Raj, Matt Ritchie, Andrew, Alex, Felipe, and Erica for joining the actual hangout with us. I want to thank all those that are viewing right now and will be viewing this in the future. Join us for Life in HD. Send an email to me, Jay at the Evolution Room, to apply. And that's all for this evening. Any last words, final words?
Love you guys.
What was that, Roger? Love you too, Andrew.
Namaste. We all did this at the same time, which is kind of funny. I was like, what? We all went like that.
Not by coincidence, man. That's being in flow right there for everyone that's watching.
Watch the recording and you'll see it all went like this at the same time.
That's pretty epic, yeah. All right, guys.
That's pretty badass. All right, you guys have a good night. Until next time.
Thank you, guys.